Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be presenting what's going on with e-waste. So first off, what is e-waste? The United Nations defines e-waste as all items and parts of electrical and electronic equipment that has been discarded without the intent of being reused. This includes computers, laptops, cell phones, tablets, anything that you can think of that's an electronic device. So, what are some of the environmental impacts of e-waste? Over 40 million tons of e-waste is discarded annually, and 80% of that 40 million tons is discarded in developing countries. The e-waste is sent off to unregulated facilities to recycle, which oftentimes is not actually recycling but is dumped into towns where people make their livings off of salvaging parts that they can later resell. This work is really dangerous because these people don't have any personal protective equipment. The processes are not safe, and a lot of the toxic chemicals leach into the ground, the waterways, and the air. This can cause health problems including impaired mental development, cancer, damage to the lungs, liver, and kidneys. And it's not exclusive to just the people that are working every day in the area where they're salvaging parts, but because the toxins leach into the ground and the air, the surrounding areas are also affected. So how does e-waste affect our health? I have here a few bullet points on some of the more common issues that can arise when exposed to the toxins from e-waste. As you can see, reproductive issues, developmental problems, damage to the immune system, interference with hormones, kidney damage, brain development in children, and cancer. And this is not just exclusive to the people that are processing this e-waste, but a lot of times people will send their e-waste to landfills, and something called e-waste bioleaching can occur. When electronics aren't recycled properly, the toxins can leach out into the surrounding area and contaminate crops, livestock, wildlife. And when consumed, these toxins are retained in the cells of organisms and passed up in the food chain in even higher concentrations in a process called bioaccumulation. And so even if you're not living near one of the places that is processing e-waste, you can still be affected by the toxins in the environment. So where do we dump our e-waste? Currently the world's biggest countries for e-waste dumping include Ghana, the Philippines, and China. And you can see on the left this little kid, he is just sitting and playing in mountains and heaps of electronic waste. And on the right, this woman is melting down switchboards so that she can extract the precious metals inside, and she doesn't have any personal protective equipment on, and she's breathing in all the fumes. So what is the recycling challenge? According to the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, only 15 to 20% of e-waste is actually recycled. Many products are theoretically recyclable, but not economically recyclable. So what does that mean? A lot of times products can be recycled, but the cost outweighs the benefit of recycling them for the producer, and so they'll just throw them into landfills because it is so expensive to safely process them and reuse them. So designers and policymakers need to focus on making it more cost effective to recycle so that there is a higher incentive to do so. What are some recommendations? Advanced recycling fees have already been implemented in many countries, such as Japan and Australia. These fees help offset the cost of the proper disposal of electronic devices when they're at the end of their lifespan, and the fees are included with the purchase of the electronics in the beginning, so it covers the cost of production and the cost of recycling it when it is eventually thrown away. Increased producer responsibility. So as it was mentioned in one of the videos, a lot of times people in companies are not even aware of where their products are going at the end of their lifespan. So making the whole process more transparent and making sure that they are responsible for knowing what happens to their products when they're no longer needed. Also, the Electronic Take Back Coalition promotes green design and recycling, so moving towards products that are more easily disassembled in bulk. So, for example, some companies are specializing in certain technologies where they'll develop screws and rivets and glues that will come undone when exposed to heat, and so it's a much easier process to break down the electronics and salvage what they can reuse. And so this is what we want moving forward. We want to move away from fast designs that use too many components that are too hard to tear apart and reuse, and then move towards products that are more easily disassembled in bulk, so that they're less expensive to recycle and we don't have to send so many to e-waste landfills.